So we'll just start off. Peace and love, everybody. What's going on? This is S.U.N, hip-hop representative of the Temple of Hip-Hop.
My name is Rilwan Shalima Adam, aka Ambassadar from Ghana, West Africa. I'm a hip-hop artist too. And I'm here to be here. I'm happy to be here.
Yes,
My name's Carol O'Connor. I live in Ethiopia and Mississippi, and I've been promoting international hip-hop cooperation through the education piece.
wonderful, wonderful. So we'll start with you, Ambassador. Can you elaborate on where you're from and what it's like there?
Alright, actually I'm from Ghana, as I said, from Ghana, West Africa, and from Cape Coast. Cape Coast used to be the first capital town of Ghana. In the ancient Ghana, they call it Gold Coast, and Cape Coast being the capital. And for your surprise, I'm the first hip-hop artist in the region. I'm the first guy who released a hip-hop song. And but in Ghana, we call it hip life, because we use our local dialect. And instead of using English, we use, because we believe hip-hop as one language. It doesn't matter. You can go to China, you hear hip-hop in China in Chinese language. As soon as you hear it, you know this is hip-hop. And he speaks one language, you know. So we use our local language and we call it hip life, you know. And it's been good so far, and there's a lot of artists coming out from there, and they're doing well all over globally. And hip-hop is hip-hop. If you have a message you want the world to know, hip-hop is the right channel to use. Hip-hop is the tool.
Yes.
If you want to reach with youths, elderly people, whoever, you know, even Osama bin Laden, if you want to reach him, you need to use hip-hop, man. Hip-hop is all over everywhere.
Yes, sir. And actually, it's funny that you guys call it hip-hop or hip life, because we consider hip-hop a lifestyle, and it's not necessarily just music, as a lot of people try to make you believe or make you think that it is, for the fact that it really does encompass 9 different elements, which, I mean, it's involved normally in all of them at the same time, but it's still hip-hop, and its reason for even establishing itself as Africa Bambaataa brought it under the umbrella of the elements. It was more than just music, and its reason for even being is just more than music.
You're right.
And its reach to go all around the world is really incredible.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on essentially what it's really done to help you all out there?
Actually, you know, the little that I can say is back home, people, like the elderly people, they don't really listen to hip-hop that well. So as soon as, like, my father, let me put my own dad, when I started my music career, he had to hear my song. He hate it. He doesn't even want to. It's not like because it's hip life, he doesn't even want to listen. So one day, you know what I did? In Africa, we have a lot of languages. I speak like 7 languages. Wow. And my father speaks Hausa. And I did a track in hip-hop, like hip life, we call it hip life. I did it in Hausa, and I was talking about issues like this problem in every home. Try to solve your own problem before you talk bad things about somebody. Because if you see somebody doing bad thing, instead of you to talk to him nicely, that's what you're supposed to do. You don't have to go behind him gossiping about him. Because you need to check your own family first. Maybe somebody is doing terrible things than what you see on the street. So make sure you settle your own home before you can come and talk negative things about people. So it's in hip-hop, and I was in Hausa language. My father is in the bathroom, so I intentionally played. So he doesn't have anything to listen to it, because my room is next to the bathroom. And I intentionally put that song on. He doesn't know it's my song. After he came from the bathroom, he said, "Wow, who played that song?" And I said, "Why?" He said, "He really liked it." I said, "But you don't want to listen?" Man said, "I didn't know you guys were saying a whole lot of things in this type of song." I said, "Yeah, because you don't listen it. The whole idea, because it's rap, is garbage." No, it's not garbage. You need to listen to whatever the person is saying. And sometimes, most of these rappers rap from their personal experience, you know. And since then, my father asked me to dub the song for him, and I refused. And my younger brother keep asking me, "Just give it to him." And I said, "No, I'm not going to give it to him." And he came back the following week. He came and asked me, "Do you remember the song you were playing the last time? Where is that song?" And I gave it to him, and he saw my name on the CD. He says, "That's you?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Come on, don't lie to me." I said, "That's me." He was shocked. So he became my #1 fan. From then on, he started listening to hip-hop, hip life. He started listening to it, you know. And it's gradually. When we started, it's very tough, but now the elderly people have started supporting it a little bit because, in fact, the hip life has conquered all the music genre in Ghana. Like we have high life, we have traditional music, but all the awards, the hip life artists grab everything. So the people started backing it up. So gradually, it's on the right channel.
Has it changed economically where you've come from in any way? Was it different before you guys discovered hip life?
Actually, what I can say now, like basically in Africa, most of the youth are into soccer, football, and since hip life became like more popular and it's giving a lot of young talent opportunities, and people it's taking away a lot of people from street. You know, people have a job now, and it's nice for you to listen to some of this young talent, man, because it's something that is really happening to them. You know, it's real. That's why we say hip life. It's a life that you live in. It's not like music, just a music. It's more than a music.
That's right.
You know, because people have a lot of experiences and they need to share with the world. And they know hip life or hip hop is the right channel, the right media to use. So actually, it's helping a lot of people. As I said, it's gradually, it's gradually growing. And I know with rhyme and reason in Ghana and stuff, people have started beginning to understand what is hip hop, and so gradually we'll get there.
Do people like, if you went back to Ghana right now, would they like swarm you and?
Man, you need to see, man. There's like, there's a lot of rap artists. They can't even come out from their own house, Like I remember when I first released my first album, it's difficult for me to walk on the street. Everybody, But now it's like there's a lot of artists around. But like some of the big ones like Sarkodie, Reggie Rockstone, VIP, Castro, Tic Tac and stuff, Caucasia, and all of them, like, they have to hide. You can't, as I'm telling you, it's getting there, and it's helping people. And the good thing is, all these guys that I mentioned their name, they also help the youth, So gradually, we're on the right track. You're on the right track.
Why are you here?
You're right. Actually, I was here, and that was in last year, Mississippi, right? I came. They invited me to perform at West Africa Islamic Legacy Music. Sometimes I forget the title, though, but I was here because of that. And I'm a co-founder of Rhyme and Reason. Yeah, we started in Ghana way back in 2007, if I remember. And we've been helping a lot of youth going to schools, organizing concerts, workshops and stuff. And actually, that's what I do for a living, Hip hop is more than music. Hip hop is a life, and that's what I live in, Yes, when you wake up in the morning, you can only stand up and walk because you breathe. So that's what I breathe. Without hip hop, I will not be here. So I'm here because of hip hop.
Oh, that's great. That was beautiful. So what are your plans? What are your plans to do? Are you
actually, I did some collaboration with some artists down in Mississippi. Carol introduced me to them. I did a collaboration with a guy known as Tannerman, and I did another guy called P-Boy Stone. So I'm here. Even though I don't rap in English.
How long are you gonna be here?
In fact, I'm planning to go back to Africa in August, but I'll be happy if I can get more artists, do more collaboration, so I can take it back home, And but so I'm planning to be here till August next year.
Okay. Where are you staying?
Actually, in Atlanta, but now you can find I'm now in Southbury.
Okay.
I'm now in Southbury. I'll be here till probably December, or then I'll move back to Atlanta or Mississippi. Like I'm here till August, so I'm in the States till August,
Okay, wonderful.
And
we gotta have to put something down for the temple. Down. The teacher is really driving to. We want to get back to the African roots of it, as far as even the beats and the music, just to spread the awareness of where it really originated. It's
exactly.
It's like, yes, hip hop. I'd say a lot of the elements came under the umbrella of hip hop here, but it
started somewhere.
Right. Because it really, Cool DJ Hurt, who is considered the father of hip hop, he comes from Jamaica and he comes from the islands, and obviously,
exactly.
all from Africa. So it's like we want to get back to and let people know exactly what the first where the real origin.
Actually, it's been good so far because of this woman right here. She's so wonderful and she's helping people all over around. She'll be traveling. She went to Ethiopia. She just got back. She was in Ghana. She was trying to explain. In fact, it will amaze you how I met her. I was in the house, in my room one day, and I just got a phone call. And I said, "Is this Ambassador?" I said, "What is this, man?" I said, "Yes." And I said, "Oh, how can I see you?" And I said, "You want to see me?" She said, "Yeah." "For what?" And she started explaining everything. I said, "Man, show me where you are. I'll drive there." Yeah, because I love it.
Right.
So I didn't allow her to drive to my place. I drove to her hotel.
No doubt.
And we sit down, we talk, and I found out she really loves hip-hop and she's ready to help, in her own way. So, yeah, since then, we set up and we found a Rhyme and Reason Foundation. The following year, we organized a workshop. She invited some artists from Mississippi and some lecturers from the United States here down to Ghana. We did it the following year again, all from her own pocket, man. We didn't get no sponsorship, nothing. Nobody helped her. Everything that she spent from her own pocket because of the love of the hip-hop that she loves, And if somebody she's willing to help you, you need to help yourself.
Yes.
So through that, I'm here too, So I told you that's what I breathe, man. Even though you can understand me speaking English with you, but I prefer rapping in my native language because hip-hop is a global thing,
Right.
It doesn't really matter what you speak.
Right.
But hip-hop hits you feel no pain, man.
Right, but see, also that feeling is what a lot of people don't understand is it's all about the feeling and the vibration that you really give off. It's like you can tell in any language when someone is tearing it down.
You're right.
If they doing it, you know who's doing it, or you know who's a little off, a little something. But you know when somebody's got it, if they're giving it, you know that's what it is.
Exactly.
But I'd like to segue into that. I'd just like to let everybody know that if you think that you care about hip hop, look and see who really, really cares about hip hop.
Yeah. And let me tell you one thing. In Ghana, if I'll be right, I think in 2008 or 2009, we did another conference. She sponsored everything. She brought people from here. There's one hip hop guy in Mississippi called Kamikaze. She brought him with DJ Fingerprint. And she pays everything, including their hotel and everything.
This was not my intention, however. We were supposed to have sponsorship, and it didn't come through.
It didn't come true, that's what I'm saying.
But when it's what can't stop, won't stop. Once you get it going, you just got to do it. Because I figure you can always get more money, but you can't always get more opportunity to create beautiful things for people.
You're right. And there's a high school, in Ghana we call it secondary school, but here I think it's high school. In Cape Coast, where I came from, this woman organized a bus, bring the whole student, to the resort that we did the conference. Is called Elimina Beach Resort. It's one of the expensive hotels in my region, and that's where the conference took place. And this woman bring all the students. She refreshed, man. She's wonderful, man. So if somebody like this just loving it, what are you sitting down doing? Also, you need to love it and do. That's what you breathe on, man. So hip hop has been good,
What I've been doing, I have, just a couple of years ago, I got my doctorate in urban higher education from Jackson State University, which is one of the HBCUs in the U.S. And I wrote my dissertation on using hip-hop in teacher training, because there's so much research showing how well using hip-hop works with especially kids who think, oh, I don't like school, and I'm not going to do this. And when you can engage them through hip-hop culture, then they realize who the teacher is as a human being, and then they trust me more. And they realize that I genuinely have their best interest in heart, and I want to hear what they have to say. And the events that we've been having for the past few years, we started in 2007 and 2008 events in Ghana. And in 2009, we had a hip-hop education conference in Mississippi in conjunction with Jackson State University. The then president, Dr. Ronald Mason, co-sponsored it because he loves hip-hop too. And then 2010 and 11, we had events in Mississippi also. All of the events that we've had have had Ghanaian and American hip-hop people involved in it and present. In 2009 and 10, we had Kwakese, who one of Ghana's biggest rap artists. And he came back in 2010, partially at his own expense because he really loves what we're doing. And I have interviews I filmed with him saying how he really likes what we're doing and is part of it. So he's technically one of our representatives or board members in Ghana, which is a huge plus. And then in 2011, Ambassadar was able to come over. He was living in Atlanta at the time, so he came over and brought a couple of Ghanaian friends with him. And all of our events, we've also had Native American graffiti artists, our U.S. events anyway, coming from the San Carlos Apache Reservation. So we've had different cultures, different perspectives, different backgrounds, and everyone coming together and being so happy together under this beautiful matrix of hip-hop culture.
Well, what brought you to hip hop though? What made you? What was the first thing that at least sparked you to be like, I want to check out hip hop?
It was really interesting because I used to teach high school on the San Carlos Apache Reservation in the mid-90s until about 2001, and my students were all interested in hip hop, but I wasn't. It was interesting, and then in 2002, I think it was, I realized, well, I haven't been listening to any music for about 5 years. Sometimes I just like silence and sounds of nature and sounds of my own thoughts. And I went, I want some music again. So I went to some music store, you know, where you put on the headphones and listen to different things. And I listened to all the different genres that I generally like. World music, which in the U.S., unfortunately, usually means only Irish music or something, not what I consider world music. And I went, ooh. So then I moved over to jazz, which I like, but I went, oh, I think I heard this. And a few other genres. The only thing left was rap and hip hop. And at that time, Nelly had out that album, Nellyville. And I had read about it, but never heard it or heard him. And so I put the headphones on and played the first song, Nellyville, and that's what did it. It changed my life. Because I went, this is a song of social justice, and it's extremely cheerful. I don't really like blues that much.
What song?
Nellyville.
The song.
The song Nellyville.
Okay.
Because he's talking about an ideal community. Blocks and blocks of no cocaine, and people being affluent, and people having a happy life, instead of having a life of misery and crack-influenced horrible problems in their lives, having something that's happy and affluent and beautiful and peaceful, and that's what all human beings deserve. And so I went, oh, this is beautiful, because back in the day, I used to enjoy listening to American folk music, Bob Dylan and Joan Baez, who were speaking of social justice and important issues. And I like music to be entertaining. I'll put quotes around that, because to me the word entertaining means something kind of shallow, but something that is speaking of important issues and truth and does it in a musical way. That's what makes me happy. And to answer the rest of the question, it was the kind of thing I'm quoting. I think I'm quoting Stephen Jobs, who said this, that you don't choose your passions choose you. And because I didn't go out looking for hip-hop, but hip-hop came and just grabbed me by the face and by the mind and the heart, and there you go.
No, and that's actually, well, all the U.S. hip-hop fans, they know about my teacher's battle with Nelly. But then they turned around and came together actually for the second Stop the Violence song and patched everything up. And I'd like to say I commend you, Nelly, for doing that, because without her, she's going all around the world because of your song, G.
That's
so
it. Yeah,
really,
that's what got it started.
Make more of them. Make more of them just like that. Keep it moving, G. That's you'll affect and change the world.
Right.
Just
Where
by
is
doing
Petey
so.
Pablo? Because Petey Pablo said hip hop says it all, and now we've lost him. We need to hear him again too.
Yeah, I don't a lot. Well, see, a huge problem is the lifestyle that we've adopted, and I pray that you guys over in
Africa
don't follow that trend of caring so much about material possessions and everything. But not only that, but they have a certain persona that they technically in a manner are supposed to keep up in front of the public eye just to seem cool. But it's like they end up through these lifestyles collecting addiction after addiction, and it helps you not last. Like I'd advise, go get some Ciroc and pour the vodka out, fill it with some water, and still sit there with the bottle. Like, hey, if that's what you have to do in order to keep your fan base, in order to make your money, it's very different out here. Whereas if you come with necessarily a positive message, our DJs just won't play you.
They won't, but one of the things that's interesting is that even the artists who have mostly materialistic or music that lyrics that a lot of us might call shallow, they sneak in some meaningful songs as well, because they have to keep their fan base too, and their fan base often like club music, which is fine, it's good to have fun too, or shallow things or things that are materialistic, but you can also look at the materialistic things as being aspirational, as long as it doesn't go too far. But like P.D. Pablo, who I mentioned earlier, one of my favorite songs of his, I think is very insightful, is called Stick Up, and he's explaining about how people get into things like robbery, and it's very insightful. I mean, the lyrics alone could be something you could use in a class, which brings me to another point, is that some of the people we're working with are professors, one of whom is Dr. Camilla Westenberg. She's an English professor at Phoenix College, and she came over to Ghana at her own expense to participate in one of our conferences, as did Dr. Neil Lester, who is now Dean of Humanities at Arizona State. And his topic was the race and gender issues in hair. He has dreadlocks and gets stereotyped like that a lot. And then Dr. Westenberg is also African American, and she spoke about the history of American hip hop. Recently she came to Ethiopia and met with the English department at the college where I was working, and with the university, and with my hip hop group of young students there, and spoke about, it's called the Understanding Hip Hop, Looking Back to Move Forward. And she tied hip-hop origins not only into West Africa, where it undoubtedly came from, since that's where African-American people largely came from, but in Ethiopia, the southern Ethiopian beats are hip-hop, completely hip-hop. For example, someone put up on YouTube a mashup of southern Ethiopian traditional music beats and put a Lil Wayne freestyle over it, and it fits perfectly.
No doubt.
So it's very interesting. So it shows how deeply rooted it is in all of Africa, not only in West Africa.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah, and I think, see, what I used to always think of is the fact of, as far as education is concerned, because they want you to memorize facts.
Ooh, no.
The majority.
Somebody's facts.
Yes, yeah, let's yeah.
Yeah.
But either way, if this is what you want, it's like to put those facts in a song, the kids will learn it so quick.
Of course they will.
And it wouldn't even, it's like they spend so much time on going through one chapter when it's like, but then the questions on the test are the main of it, which is what they want you to retain, when it's like, come on. Even it shows like the first thing that we're taught, like almost in kindergarten, is through rhyme, which is
Exactly.
in 1492, Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue.
You're right.
Everybody knows that now. It is like you ask if out of anything in school, if you walked up to anybody on the street, you could ask them that line or ask them to say that, and they could say it to you, and they know it. So it's like, why ever that wouldn't be a tool that would be used in actual education is beyond me. And obviously there are purposeful reasons and why and how it's all set up and all of that. But we got more important things to talk about than that.
Yeah, but let me say this quickly.
Yes, sir.
I remember in 2000, I think around 2008, I was in Ghana, and I got a call from Dr. King. He is a lecturer in Morehouse College, and he told me, I would like, is it okay in next 30 minutes, if you are available, I'll call you so you can give me some rap. I'm teaching in a class and I want them to hear you. And I said, man, I don't rap in English. And he said, it doesn't really matter, I just want them to hear you. And I said, first, what happened is I asked him, what topic, you want me to rap? I said, what topic? And he said, any topic. And I said, but even It's crazy. Even if you give me the topic, whatever I say, they don't understand. And they say, yeah, it's not. It doesn't really matter. I just want them to hear you. So in next 30 minutes, if you're going to be available, I'll call you. So after 30 minutes, he called me. And he said, you ready? I said, yeah, I'm ready. So I introduced myself in English, and I started rapping. Within some few minutes, I hear, woo, the whole room, yeah.
It's that feeling.
Yeah.
It's that feeling. They
Even
know.
though they don't really understand whatever I'm saying. If I'm insulting them or whatever, they don't get it. But hip-hop speak one language, man.
Right, that's right.
Yeah, they can
Speaks to
really
the soul.
feel. Yeah.
Because people need to hear other people's stories. This is why we need to have social websites and these types of things, because people love to be in contact with one another and hear things that are important. Something else that interesting that happened, I used to call Ambassador once in a while from these schools I was working at. I worked for an alternative school in Arizona with all the kids that were thrown out of other schools and that sort of thing. And then for a while I worked at a jail, working with the young people there, and they were supposed to be doing a bunch of stuff on computers, of boring questions and stuff, but I just spent most of my time talking with them. They threw me out of there eventually because they didn't want the kids to learn things like that, I guess. But I called up, it was mostly Native American students there, prisoners, young prisoners is what they were, young Native American people from over by the Colorado River. They were really far from their home too, so their families could not easily visit them. So they had isolated them, and but hip hop unisolates people. And so I called up and had Ambassador rapping, and I had my cell phone set up there on speaker, and of course here came one of the guards. What's going on in here?
But tell me, like, do they, when you're rapping
Yeah.
in Africa, are they sitting down? Is that how it is?
Yeah, actually, as I said, like, it depends where exactly you are. Some part of Africa, when you're rapping, still people will be, you know, like, people will be sitting down just looking at you. And some parts too, people will be, you know, jumping, you know, it depends, you know.
Right.
Like, in most of the rhyme and reason workshops that we organize, and the title is Telling Our Own Stories, you know, telling our own stories, because in reality, it's not like something we're trying to forge and create something fake or photocopy. Everything that we do is real, it's a reality, so we name it Telling Our Own Stories. And sometimes, like, I remember back home, I organized a talent show sponsored by Rhyme and Reason, and the final, I was a guest artist. I organized it, but during the final, I appear on the street like as a main artist, and I was singing a song called Konsama, and it's a story. You know what happened? I visited my friend, and he took me to see another friend. He just came from Norway, and he's telling him what happened. One of his friends cheated on him, and so I was sitting there, but the story touched me, you know. So as soon as I left, I said, man, I have a song right there. So I put in some lyrics, listened to whatever the guy said, write it down, and put it. And after the final, there's a man, he said he doesn't like hip life at all, but that particular song that I sang, it seems like I'm talking to him directly, you know. So things do happen. So sometimes it's not like some of the people don't really like it. You touching them and they what? Like it's a kind of shock, you know. Because especially most of the elderly people that they think hip hop is just like they're talking with no meaning, no sense or nothing. If they're quiet and they listen to something that you say that is very, very important, it's kind of shocked. If somebody is real shocked, it doesn't even have to open his mouth. You can tell the person is shocked, you know. You know. But sometimes too, when you are on stage and people are just listening to you, it's not good. Right. So no matter what, we want you to just get up, make some noise, clap, jump, and let's say, hey, let's keep the energy going. You know, so sometimes it's two ways. People will be quiet because of whatever you're telling them is really affecting them, or probably somebody that they know have similar situation. Whatever you're saying is true, man. Okay. Some of the places, if your name is not there out there, they don't see you on television, on some they don't have your. If you are not popular, no matter what, they will be looking at you like this. And the same person in the same area. If you have the album out, you're on TV, everybody say, hey, this guy, the same song that you sing, and they'll be quiet like this. As soon as it became popular, everybody want to, hey, you know? Yeah, so sometimes it's our own mentality.
Right. Well, see, we say that to be hip up on something needs to be knowledgeable on it.
Exactly.
And a hop is a form of movement.
Yeah.
So it's like, to me, that's when it really all comes together. When it's that moving, that swaying, that rocking, that where you actually, that's the experience to me of real hip hop, because that to me gets you, it gives that spirit, and it gets your spirit up, like to the point of you feel like you're on a drug of some sort.
You're right.
When it's, you're high on that life, you're high on the life of
right.
it that it's given you. So
Hip hop can also create a lot of mental motion too, and that's equally important.
Right,
Some people
right.
are not as demonstrative, or sometimes they just feel kind of low energy or whatever, or they just want to chill and not be standing out either.
right,
So they just want to chill and listen to it, and it can really move your heart.
Yeah, you're right.
So that's
Right.
movement too.
Like,
right.
Adding to what you just said, I remember during that last conference in Mississippi, everybody performed, and when it gets to my turn, they say, "Oh, a rap artist from Ghana, Ambassadar." Now, when it's my turn, my CD doesn't want to play.
No
You
doubt,
know?
no doubt.
But I'm already in the mood,
Right,
because I
right.
keep doing freestyle, and I say, and it's my turn for me to perform, the CD don't want to play. And I say, man, DJ or no DJ, CD or no CD, this is not going to stop me, man.
Right.
And I say, I'm just going in, and there's this fat guy, he's a comedian. I don't know, he's in Mississippi. And Big V, he said, yo, he came just start giving me some beatbox, man.
Yeah. Yes,
Yes,
sir,
yeah.
yes,
I
sir.
said, wow, this is it.
Right,
You
right.
know,
So
so-
that's another thing, is the fact of you don't need technology
Yeah.
for it to take place.
Exactly.
And it's really we consider it one of the last of the human skills that people are actually probably ever going to practice in life, because everything else is taken over for us. We don't have to do a lot of stuff because of technology
You're right.
that we used to have to do before, even down to writing out a letter. It's just, it doesn't happen that much anymore, because we can type it on out and send it within a second.
Actually, it's the first human skill though, because chanting and language go back to the dawn of humanity. And there's a lot of thought that perhaps chanting was the first form of human language.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
And so this rhythmicality and words on top of it are deep in our spirit, real deep in our spirit. And so when people are saying things, especially things that are important to us as individuals or as a society, it really touches us at a level where we can't even explain it. And one of the things I love about hip-hop is it's the first global culture in human history. And it was done without any force or violence whatsoever.
That's right.
And that's what's beautiful about
Yes,
it.
indeed.
And anywhere you go in the world. When I first moved to Ethiopia, which was about a year ago, I was totally upset to find out that hip-hop was very rare there. Almost no hip-hop artists, and I couldn't find any hip-hop culture where I lived, and I felt very bad, very sad, very isolated. And so I thought, well, let me start looking around. So I found this youth center and started talking with some of the kids there about hip-hop. And one boy even said, "What is hip-hop?" And I went, "Wow, last country on earth." I said, "Well, let me tell you."
I know that's right. Yes,
And a
indeed.
lot of the kids, they actually knew what it was, but they didn't know the name for it.
Exactly. People call it different names because of the different languages.
And
too.
they didn't even have a name for it, what they were doing. And a lot of the high school students, that's my favorite age to work with, like juniors and seniors in high school. That's my favorite age to work with, because some people say I have about the same mentality as that age anyway. But we were able to get Ethiopia's first graffiti artist started up. His name was Bolum Mengistu. He's on Facebook as Bolum Graffiti. And this is some of his art. He did this when he had been doing graffiti for less than 4 months. He was an artist before. And he said, "I never heard of graffiti, but as soon as I saw it, I wanted to do it." And since this time, he's done very nice art for Mississippi artists like P-Boy Stone, and for Atlanta artist Papa Duck. And one time he was chatting back and forth on Facebook with Papa Duck. So this is education on a lot of different levels. It's technology, English language, proper communication, and all under the beautiful context of hip-hop. Because without hip-hop, Bolum and I would have never met. He wouldn't be doing this kind of beautiful art. He's been doing murals by invitation around in the town and getting paid for some of his art. So this is creating economic opportunity for him. And one of the people we're working with in Ethiopia is an economist at the Awassa University. And he recently wrote a book and had it published about livestock management. And he said probably 17 people might buy that book. But now he's become totally enthralled with hip hop. And he said, oh, this is so beautiful. And he said, it's so invigorating and it's so interesting. Now he's writing articles about the economic impact of hip hop in Ethiopia. So for a lot of these people, they're the first ones in their country doing these things, so it creates huge opportunity. One of the people we're working with also is an Emirati rap artist. His name is Wolfie the Beast, and he's from Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. Actually from Sharjah right next to it, but nobody heard of Sharjah, so he claims Dubai instead. But his music's real hard, and he raps in English and does the hooks in Arabic. And so here's another voice. This is what's really important to all of us, is being able to hear what other people have to say.
Yes, yeah.
Because so many people before had no voice, and now through hip-hop they have the ear of the world. And that's what scares some of these people that go, well, I don't know if this is appropriate. Well, you have to ask the young people. You have to respect your own youth.
Right.
And listen to what they have to say, you know?
Exactly.
Instead of telling them to be quiet and sit down and listen to you. Everybody loves their parents, but nobody wants to be their parents. Let people flower in their own way.
You said something
Yes, sir.
like concerning the hip hop that like the Ethiopians, they're doing it, but they don't have name to it, and like everywhere you go, as Carol said, the beats and the style is different, right? But I'm not doing commercials here, but like Coke, you know, Coca-Cola bottle. If you go to Ghana, as soon as you see it, it's Coca-Cola bottle. If you go to China, you see this Coca-Cola bottle, and it's same Coca-Cola, but the taste is not the same. The taste will never be the same.
Just because
right?
water tastes
Yeah,
good.
it's still Coca-Cola. So that's hip hop. Everywhere you go,
Yes, indeed.
it's still hip hop.
Yes,
But
indeed.
probably the style and the beats and how people take it is a little different, but it's still hip hop.
But I think you know what, and you know what amazes me is the fact of when you rap, does it rhyme?
Yeah, that's good. That's a good question. Like back home, we have like I know even here, like when you go to Mississippi, when I listen to Mississippi, I really love. Sorry, I didn't know anything about Connecticut hip hop, but I really love Mississippi
There
hip hop.
is number one.
I'm sorry.
Number one.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten there yet. We're working on it.
Yeah.
I
We're
moved to
working on it.
Mississippi because of the
We're
hip
working
hop.
on it.
I was in
Yeah,
most of my time, spent most of my time in Atlanta, Georgia, but I love Mississippi hip hop. You know the reason why? Anytime they play it, I feel like I'm back home. When I came to Atlanta, I'm listening to hip hop. I'm listening like now I know I'm not in Africa. I mean somewhere else. But if I'm in Mississippi, as soon as I hear the kick, the bass, I say, wow. It reminds me of Caucasia back home. One of our big, like one of the rap stars.
That's why Kwakese likes Mississippi too.
So, you know, and like in back home, even like here you say state, in Ghana we say regions. Each region, as here you say state, like when you came to Central region, we have our own style. It is hip hop. But apart from that, we have an indigenous style too. So you can hear some of our rap music, some with good rhymes, even though you don't understand, but you can hear us rhyming. And some too, you will not even hear not even a single rhyme on it, you know. But we still consider all as hip hop and hip life,
Right.
you know. So and some of the things it depends on the artists themselves. Some artists doesn't really care about rhyming. All it cares is the message I is sending it out, and some want to be on beat. There are some artists they don't care if they're on beat or not. And if somebody is not on beat, you if you listen to it, you can tell this guy is not on beat, but it doesn't concern him. All he cares is whatever he tried to tell you, you heard it.
No doubt.
You know?
No doubt.
So sometimes, like, I'm sorry to say this, to me, I don't believe there's good music and bad music. And I have my reason. I could be wrong, but that's my personal opinion, you know? Something that would be good to you, it will be bad to somebody.
Right.
Something that will be bad to somebody, it could be good to you. So to me, hip-hop is hip-hop. Hip-hop is hip-hop. Some people do hip-hop because of they want money, commercial basis. Some people don't really care, you know? Like me, for instance, if you ask me I'm rich, I can tell you I'm rich. I don't have money in my pocket, but I love what I do. So that makes me a rich man.
Yes, sir.
you know.
Wealthy.
So yeah,
Wealthy.
that's what makes me wealthy, right? So I cannot be popular in America or anywhere that I came from, but where I came from, people know me, people know what I do. That makes me even more richer, you know. And I don't care if I'm on bigger TV or bigger internet. I don't care, you know. Richness is in my heart, you know. As soon as I can get a little money to buy gas, buy food, I don't want plenty. Small, I'm good. You know, so I believe hip hop speak the same language. You know, it doesn't really matter. They speak the same language. We can rap differently, different style from whatever you guys do, but in our blood, it's hip hop.
Okay.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, let me give you for example, like if I say I'm going to rap in a language like in Hausa, like. I say habanyarinya kisanu kunya kana sanu manya zgoda make hanya dominki wala naga makida Allah. I'm speaking different words, but it rhymes.
Right.
That's what it means?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
but
sir.
I'm saying different things altogether.
Right.
I'm rapping, but it rhymes.
Right.
And I can say maybe assalamu alaikum wa alaikum salam. Abin da kake so dole ne ka fada. Abinci da bai da fani samari ba ci. O waka taboye maka man suka ji. Amana tigani kullun tana murna. Bana mutskari ya balle mu yi fada. So da kin yarinya sai mutuwa. Da dube ki bisa da kasa ba fitina. Kimna duwan sam kudin kai ke maka wada ke da nake so maki bana gane cewa bana masoya. You know, like
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes,
so
sir.
even though you don't understand, you know I'm rapping.
Right,
I'm doing
right.
it.
No,
So,
you're killing it. He's killing it.
And this is
You
the way
know?
to teach language arts in school too,
Right, yes,
instead of
indeed.
boring kids to death with
Oh.
test preparation questions.
Let me tell you this.
Ooh, where they don't learn anything.
Well, it's
There's
not,
this
it's
school-
very disconnected. Like,
It's terribly disconnected, and that is No Child Left Behind, leaving almost all the children behind
yeah.
There's this
and making them
school.
drop out.
There's this school in Cape Coast, and one of the teachers there happens to be one of my brother's friend. And the kids are stubborn, excuse my language though. And one day he said he's going to surprise them, and he told them, "Oh, you know, we're going to bring Ambassador and the Backhouse Band." It's good to say, bringing Ambassador and the Backhouse Band. The next day, all the students came. Everybody there, early, everybody's there. You know, because they heard Ambassador and the Backhouse Band are coming.
And interested.
Everybody was there. And this guy said, "Man, you need to show up. If you didn't show up, this kids will not believe me again."
That's right.
So I show up with my crew. They call them Backhouse Band, and we have another style of music called palm wine music. That's indigenous African music. They play with the acoustic guitar,
Okay.
some local drums, and I'll be rapping with that kind of instrument, you know?
Okay.
Like, yeah. So these kids will, what? Like, they know my music already, so they're thinking that's the kind of music I'm coming to rap on the one day they know, and we bring our indigenous tradition beats. And if you listen to it, it's just like hip hop too, you know? And I use some of my own song that they know and put it in on that different beats, and the kids were wow. And after we left, the guy came home, he thanked me, said, "Man, they keep asking me when are they going to bring these guys back?" And he said, "If you guys be good in a month, I'll bring him every month." You know? So hip hop really works.
Yes.
Hip hop really works, man. If you are in a school, you are a teacher, and even your kids know you love hip hop, they're comfortable coming to you to talk to you. I'm telling you,
That's right.
they're really comfortable. They will love you, and they will come and talk to you because they think there's something in common, you know.
Right.
There is
Yeah,
something
right.
in common.
Come on, yeah.
When I was working in Mississippi, after I got my doctorate, then I got kind of poor. So I had to get a job.
You heard that?
Yeah. And so I got a job teaching at a high school. It was in the end of January. I was the third teacher they had that year. And it was considered the worst school in Jackson. And I went, perfect, exactly what I wanted. And a bunch of kids all rowdy, and they said, "Oh, these kids are," people, even the teachers would say, "These kids are bad and these kids are dumb." I went, "How can you talk about these kids that way?" You know, I wish I'd been the principal, I would have fired them. But anyway, the kids, I had letters in my room on the wall from C. Murder and Boosie, and their favorite Mississippi artist, Lil C. Letters from each of them to the kids, encouraging them to stay in school and to do their work, and, you know, letting them know that somebody loves them.
Right.
Because some of the kids would get caught at the school with drugs, and I said, "Don't bring it to school, what's wrong with you? You know, if you're gonna do this, do it at home, don't do it here." Right? And this one girl said, "We have to get high in order to cope." And I thought, oh, there's an indictment of public education. But kids who weren't even in my class would come to my class because they knew that I got it, that I understood who they were as human beings, and I loved them for who they were, not criticizing them or telling them that they should pull their pants up and these kind of things, because I don't care about the level of people's pants or how short the girls' skirts are. I care about the level of their mind.
Well,
And
that's what you are there for. It's
That's
like
what I'm
really,
there
if anything, the parents are the ones who are supposed to care about the clothing and stuff. That's
Well, a lot of them didn't have parents, or parents that really seemed to care a great deal about them, because the parents were into other things a lot of times, like prison and drugs, and a lot of other kind of things that genuinely fall under the heading of dysfunctional, you know. And so there's these kids who are basically abandoned, and that's why Saigon's whole thing is the abandoned nation. That he said, like in the past, parents always were upset with kids. That's always a generational thing. Always parents think the kids are doing the wrong thing. But that they used to be upset with kids back in the days of rock and roll, because they said, oh, these kids are acting with abandon or dancing with abandon. But nowadays, kids are genuinely abandoned, and they have these damaged spirits. And that's what we cannot allow. That's what immoral is to allow that to continue. So we got to reach out. It's a joy to reach out to these kids, because they're beautiful human beings and they're going through a lot, and those are the ones who need us the most.
indeed.
So that's what I'm down for.
Yeah, most definitely.
And I'm still in contact with a lot of them, probably about 50 of them through Facebook,
Wow.
and also see them when I'm back in Mississippi, and probably about at least 50 of my former students from the Apache Reservation, some of whom I saw a few weeks ago when I was there. And they made it. They're still alive, despite all odds, and some of them are doing okay too.
All right.
So that is a real blessing to me.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Family's where you find it.
Is there anything that you'd like to show?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Right here I happen to have a couple of things we published in Ethiopia. As I mentioned, there was not a whole lot of hip-hop evident when I got there. And I was working with a college, Awassa College of Teacher Education in the southern part of Ethiopia. And I was working with the English Language Improvement Center. In Awassa, there are 62 languages, and English is rarely one of them. So the English Language Improvement Center is trying to do things to draw students in particular into learning English, so they have a shot at the global opportunities. And so through the college, we published this ELIC Updates, a newsletter. And in here, right in here, I did an article about hip-hop pedagogy, ideas for better English language lessons. An article here showing that the college buys into the idea of using hip-hop in education. It's very well researched, hip-hop in education. And even the young people in Ethiopia who didn't really, some of them didn't know the term, all really get it when it comes to hip-hop. They only know our most famous artists like Lil Wayne and 50 Cent and Snoop Dogg. And so I was able to introduce them to some of the underground Mississippi artists' music, and of course Ambassador's music and Kwakese's music, because all these things are on YouTube. So this is the educational tool. You don't have books in your classroom? No problem, I got internet, boys and girls, come on over. So we did that. And then we were able to publish this nice booklet called Telling Our Own Stories. This art here, as I mentioned earlier, was done by Bolan Mengistu, a graffiti artist. They're a young guy, he's 19. And I didn't tell him what to put on the cover, I just told him the text. I said, it's gotta say this, and it's gotta mention about the college. And I said, other than that, please just do something. And he did, and this is what he came up with. Beautiful art, it says hip hop. Also, the smaller booklet was students' writings, Ethiopian young people's writings and their art, with an introduction to the publication by C. Murder, and some afterword where we used some of Kara's lyrics, You Must Learn, plus a nice drawing of him by a Navajo graffiti artist who's a high school student. So the word is going everywhere around the world through all the different cultures. In Ethiopia, I was able to use both of those publications and do a presentation at the Ministry of Education at their National English Language Improvement Center conference about using hip-hop in education. And the people there received it very well and said this is a new idea for us, but it's something we're very interested in, so that was good. And then in Ethiopia also we've been able to have good dealings with the country's biggest and one of the few rap artists. His name is Teddy Yo. And Teddy O loves hip-hop. He has to do a lot of reggae and reggaeton because that's who his audience largely is. But he loves us because he gets to do pure hip-hop all the time. And Teddy went to Dubai for a 4-month gig earlier this year. And I introduced him to Wolfie the Beast, the Emirati rap artist that I mentioned earlier. And they recorded 3 tracks together. So now we have more global links and more global love going back and forth. And Teddy came to Awassa and performed at a concert that we had there with the young artists from Awassa. And it was a fundraiser for a very poor school to buy books for them. And some of the kids from that school were the performers in our events as well. Earlier in this year, before we had that event with Teddy O, we had an event at the college. It was purely hip-hop. It was live graffiti on stage. It was the young rap artist that made you feel like you were right back in Mississippi performing in English. It was a 2-hour show, and it had 2,000 people who were there. Oop, there go my cell phone, ruining everything. Anyway, this is technology intruding. But the point is that hip-hop is obviously around the whole world, even in countries where it's still relatively new. It's a powerful force for good.
Wonderful. Is there anything that you'd like to say to your own generation about hip-hop?
Yeah, pay attention to the young people and have respect for them. You think that you know everything and they don't know anything? That is not correct. They know a lot, and we need to listen to them and hear what they have to say and share their lives, because we're all in this together. Nobody's getting out of here alive. But while we're here, we need to love each other and be correct with each other and not have false generational divides or false ethnicity divides or religious divides or any of these kind of foolish things. Because through hip-hop, you can bring everyone together and have a better life for everybody.
Wonderful, wonderful. Is there anything that you can direct people to as far as the internet, as to get in contact with you?
Sure. I'm on Facebook, Carol O'Connor. My last name is O'', capital C-O-N-N-O-R. And I know there's a few other Carol O'Connors on there, but I think you can easily find me if you put Ethiopia after it, because I listed my residence, which it is now, as Ethiopia. And when you go on there, you'll see a lot of graffiti artists and rap artists and other people who are involved in different aspects of hip-hop, including hip-hop professors. So these are some of the important elements of hip-hop culture to draw together. And dancers are on there, so it's a big, beautiful, multi-generational, multinational community.
Wonderful.
And also YouTube, of course, you can find all the artists on there. If you put in like Ghana hip-hop or Ethiopian hip-hop, you can find some of these people as well. Some of the people from Ghana who have been working closely with us are Kwakese and Tic Tac, and of course Ambassadar. And then in Ethiopia, it's Teddy O. And for the Emirates, you go to Wolfie the Beast,
All right,
who has a
wonderful.
lot to say.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much. We definitely
you.
appreciate you, and hopefully, we'll definitely be in contact
For
always. So thank you very much, and stay tuned for part 2 when we'll carry on with the Ambassador. All right,
Mississippi.
peace.
The first thing you have to do is love what you do. Love what you do and love yourself, love your brother. That's the main important thing. Love is the most important thing in this world. And hip-hop is the key. As in Ghana, we call it hip life. We live in a hip-hop. Hip-hop is a life. That's why we call it hip life. It's not a music, it's a life that we live in. So in Ghana, we don't call it hip-hop, we call it hip life. So I believe, hey, it's the best way if you have any message to let the youth or let the world know about what you want to say. Hip-hop is the best tool, the best media. Don't listen to television, it's television, listen to hip-hop, Hip-hop is the way. And hey, I'm here now, I'm in the States now, but I'm going back to Africa next year, August, and definitely you're going to hear from me very soon with some of the American rap artists. And hey, as I said, hip-hop speak one language. It doesn't matter, I don't rap in English. I can rap in English though, but I prefer doing my own native language. And so very soon, you'll hear about me. Peace and one love. Remember, always love yourself. Don't do because others are doing it. Do what you think is good for you. Because your life is you. You only have one life to live. Peace out. Okay, listen now. I say, Menisika me the dollar. It was Sika 80 safer. You could buy me genera. I can see that make your pounds every rap, make your rhyme. Any do come in wife. Hey, Bisa, who I am, who are you, mother that the mature rapper give you up that don't say that. Something we cannot for my member that. Bah, you